All right, well, welcome to the TeamMADE International call. It is our first call of April. We actually had a couple of weeks where we didn't have a call, and I really, really missed you guys, so I'm really excited to see your faces. And we have a very, very special guest, and the more I get to speak with him, the more I like him, which is a good thing because it's usually the other way around. He's a pretty good guy, and I'm really excited for you guys to hear from him. But before we do, I wanted to mention two things. I see Laura's on the call, so she might have to represent. But I wanted to take a moment and brag about the elite rankings came out today, and Club Fitz, which is Lauren Fitzgerald's team. You know, she's been a coach about 6 months. Her team is number 22 in the whole flipping company. Moment of silence. You guys, it's crazy. And it's not what she's doing, it's what her team is doing. I'm just beside myself proud of her, and it just goes to show the leadership that she has and what's possible. And then on that note, Kelly's the only one that knows. She's smiling. But I am very excited and proud to tell you guys that we went from being number 11 in the company last month to bumping up to number 8 this month. So TeamMADE is back in the top 10. Yay! Really, really proud of you guys. I did not expect such a huge jump. Kelly's been my confidant, and I was like, man, we might stay the same. We might hit 10, but we could slide backwards. So when Jeremy called me today and told me that we were sitting at the number 8 spot out of near 500,000 coaches, that's just, that's something to brag about. It's all because of all of the hard work that you guys are doing that we're able to say that this team is recognized in that way. And you are legitimately recognized because corporate reached out to me last month and asked what the team name was, because they want to recognize you guys in the 8th place, not me, because it has nothing to do with me. It's about you guys and your hard work. So it is TeamMADE International that holds that number 8 spot. So Kelly's been standing on her head for me because we decided that works. So if you guys could all stand on your head for the month of April at least once, maybe take a picture, it works. And maybe we'll be able to hold the top 10 spot for a little while longer and see what happens. But I want to take the opportunity to move on and introduce our host, Josh. He reached out to me a little while ago. He has, I'm going to let him give himself probably a much more detailed introduction, but as soon as I saw John Maxwell, I was sold, because is he not the coolest man on the planet? For those of you that were at Summit and you got to listen to him speak, I mean, he's the dad, the dad you never had and the boss you've always wanted, is the best way to explain him, I think. He's just an amazing man, and so I know Josh has been mentored by him. And Josh and I had the opportunity to talk, and he asked me what it is about this amazing team that I think we could nurture and caress and love on just a little bit more. And it really was, in my humble opinion, fear. I think that you guys have all the heart that you need, all the passion that you need, but there's just that little barrier of fear that keeps you from going out there and doing what you can do 10 times more effective, because you have that little voice in your head that tells you maybe you can't. And so he's going to touch on that today. And I have fear too. I still have not done a Facebook Live, Josh, because I am scared to death to push that button. So I'm going to be listening just as intently as you guys to what he has to say. And I'll take the opportunity to welcome Mr. Josh Coates right now.
Thank you very much, Melissa. I appreciate that so much.
Welcome.
And thank you for letting me be on your call, having never even met me or talked to me before, just on the basis of John Maxwell's name. And obviously having Carly's name helps a little bit. But thank you seriously so much. I'm always so honored to speak on team calls. And one of my very favorite things to hear from people is, oh my gosh, Josh, that was my very first ever team call that you spoke on. Is there anyone here that this is your very first team call? Raise your hand if it's your first team call. You got one person right there, 2 people. Oh, okay, I can't see. Well, we got 3 screens going, so I don't know if I can. There may have been more than 2, but I saw for sure 2, so that's awesome. So first of all, welcome to the Beachbody family. I do call it my family, even though I'm not a Beachbody coach, because my business is 100% Beachbody. And I'll give you a little intro to why that happened, so you don't think I'm one of those weird people. Has anybody ever saw those people on Instagram where they're like, get Beachbody leads? That is like this. Is that not the scammiest sounding thing in the world? Okay. I promise I'm not one of those people. Okay. I'll just tell you that up front. So what happens, I signed up for the John Maxwell team a few years ago. And what the John Maxwell team is it's a training program that John Maxwell puts on for people that want to step up their leadership game. Like Beachbody, there are some people that are more of like discount coaches, and then other people who go all in. Well, I went all in from day one, went all in on the business model that they teach, on all the training. I used to detail cars for a living, so I literally listened to 6 hours of training with John Maxwell a day while I would detail cars. And so about actually just 5 months ago is when I quit my day job and went full time. I'd kind of been taking one day off at a time as the income was kind of replacing my job. But how I got involved with Beachbody is actually just last year, actually about this time last year when we got our tax return, my wife signed up as a Beachbody coach. I had already been doing the programs for like 5 years. I was that awesome guy that you guys all love that had some burned copies of P90X. You guys love that, don't you? Right? Yes, I know. I was that guy. But somebody gave them to me. I mean, what was I going to do? Just throw them away? No way. I was going to work out with Tony Horton, man. And so when my wife signed up for Beachbody, I was actually excited. I was the exact opposite of most husbands, right? Most husbands are like, you want to spend $100 for what? I was like, dude, this is so cool. You're going to do that beach. Like, I love Beachbody. And so she just happened to sign up under Brittany Powers. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of Brittany Powers, but she's awesome. And at the time, she'd only been in the business about 1.5 years. Not a lot of people really even knew who she was at the time. She was still just like a kid, you know. And I reached out to her, offered her a free session. And from there, Beachbody just became my family. I spoke on her very first team call. She introduced me to her upline coaches. And I literally built a business exclusively with Beachbody, not even on purpose. It's just the people that I fell in love with and the people that fell in love with me. And it just happened just so naturally for a few reasons. Number one, Beachbody, and I heard Carl Deichler speak from the stage at Summit. I was actually watching at home. My wife was there, and I was watching him live stream. And he said these words. He said, and I'm sure most of you remember them, everyone matters. You guys remember those words? And when he said those words, now at the time, I had just kind of started to work with some Beachbody coaches. I was working with Brittany and her upline and a few other people. And when I heard Carl's heart, I knew that this was a company that I could buy into. Now, like I said, I'm not a Beachbody coach, but I love mentoring and training a company that has such a passion and such a heart to help other people. Because if you don't want to help other people, I really have no desire to help you. And I don't mean that in a rude way, but I believe part of the John Maxwell team DNA is we add value to people who value people. If you don't value people, we ain't got no business working together. You've got to value people. And so that's why I'm here tonight, because I want to add value to you. And I just appreciate you, Melissa, so much for letting me come on to add value to all of you guys. So anyways, I work with Beachbody coaches, and kind of what I specialize in is taking personal development and putting it into Beachbody words. Okay. I understand the Beachbody business probably more than most people on this call, with the exception of Melissa and a few other people, because literally everyone I work with is Beachbody. And so I know what's going on in your head better than you do, because I've spent hours upon hours upon hours listening to people just like you, and hearing what you're going through on a daily basis, and hearing what you're struggling with. And guess what? I built my business from scratch as well. Doing what? The 3 vital behaviors. Now, I didn't know they were called. I didn't know there was a name for it. No one ever told me that. It's just what I figured out from experimenting, was that the 3 things you have to do every single day is to be a product of whatever you're selling, is to invite, and do your own personal development. And that literally was the game plan that I used to build my business. So when my wife signed up for Beachbody and started talking about the 3 vital behaviors, I was pissed. I was like, how come you learned this on day 2? It took me an entire year of experimenting and reflecting to figure out that those were the 3. I mean, I was trying to run YouTube channels and websites. And I mean, you listen to podcasts and you can get 30,000 ideas in like one day, right? And before you know it, you haven't even like posted on social media all day because you're so stuck listening to what other people say to do. Am I right? Anyone ever experienced that? Come on now. Come on. I know. So tonight I want to talk to you about overcoming your fear. Because if you are going to be an entrepreneur, I'm just going to tell you right now, you're going to face a crap ton of fear. Day in and day out, there is going to be fear. And I love what my coaching mentor on the John Maxwell team, Christian Simpson, says. He says, there is no difference in potential with successful people and unsuccessful people. Everyone has the same amount of potential. Just like Melissa was saying earlier, every single one of you have everything that you will ever need to succeed living on the inside of you. But the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is unsuccessful people are not yet aware of that potential. Did you catch what I just said? Unsuccessful people are not yet aware of that potential. And that's why you see successful coaches and you're like, there's just something about them. They just have like this light in their eyes, right? And it's just like people are just drawn to them. Why is that? Because they have been awakened to what lives on the inside. And for the rest of you, we're still trying to wake up that giant. Every single one of you has a giant living on the inside. And every single day, we're just trying to wake it up. And one of the main things that holds us back from waking up that giant is fear, right? We face fear, and I love what I heard one person say, new level, new devil. At every new level you run into, you're going to have a new devil. You're going to have a new fear. You're going to have something that stares you in the face, whether it be going live on Facebook, which I think I'm going to have to give Melissa a homework assignment tonight to go live on Facebook. I love giving homework assignments. It's like my favorite thing. And whatever level you're at, there's something that's staring you in the face. And I'll tell you this from my own experience, that one thing is usually the thing you need the most in your business. Almost every single time. Can I just be honest real quick? I'll just be honest before I even get into this. Carly is one of my clients, Carly Del Carlo. We were working together and I was like, hey, Carly, would you mind introducing me to a few of your friends? Because at the time, literally like 80% of my clients are like in one upline. So it leads up to the same place you guys lead to. It leads up to Christine Dwyer, but it was from Sarah Try down. Sarah Try is right under Angie Green. It's a really big team, but I wanted to meet new people. I wanted to meet the rest of the family, right? So I said, would you introduce me to some friends? A few weeks later, I, asked her, hey, Carly, did you get a chance to message anybody for me? She said, yeah, actually, I emailed all of my fellow top 10s from 2014. And I was like, you did what? Like, I thought she was going to maybe like tell one or two people about me, right? So I was like, okay, that's cool. She's like, yeah, they said they're all busy right now. Maybe follow up with them in a month. And I put off reaching out to those people for so long. Why? I work with some rock star coaches, but they're coaches that I met through people that I knew very well. And so it wasn't quite as intimidating when you say, hey, here's my best friend. Would you like to chat with them? As opposed to Melissa McAllister, who you've seen all over the internet, and she's a freaking rock star, right? So I was scared to death to message these people. And I'm sitting here reading John Maxwell talking about how when he was a young pastor, he reached out to the top 10 pastors in the country and said, hey, I'll pay you $100 if you'll just have lunch with me and let me ask you questions for 30 minutes. He said only 2 of them responded, but those 2 ended up introducing him to the other 8. So as a young man in his early 20s, he got to meet the top 10 pastors in the entire country. I read that and said, Josh, you freaking idiot. Just go message them. What's the worst that's going to happen? Even if just one of them responds to you, you never know what that could do for your business. And guess what? 2 people responded, just like what happened with John Maxwell. Melissa responded and Micah Folsom responded. I spoke for Micah last week. This week I get to speak for Melissa. And who knows, maybe my story will end the same as John's did. Maybe they'll introduce me to the other 8. If they don't, that's okay, because I'm just honored to be here with you guys tonight. So let's talk about overcoming fear. Because you are going to have to overcome fear over and over and over and over and over and over. And if you ever get to the point where you say, Josh, I no longer have demons looking at me in the mirror, that's when I will worry about you. And that's when I will wonder what has gone wrong. Most people say, I'm afraid, I got all these things that I'm going through. That's good. That means you're growing. If you're not growing, you're dying. Okay? So if you wake up one morning and you don't have anything that you're afraid of, please, please, please call me and let's figure out what's wrong. Okay? But as long as you wake up and you have fear, we're good to go. So let's talk about how to overcome that fear. Okay? But first, I want you to know what fear really is and why fear really is. Otherwise, you're going to think there's something wrong with you for the rest of your life. And I'm here to tell you there's nothing wrong with you. So what is fear? Here's a definition from Webster's. Fear is an emotion induced by a threat perceived by living entities, which causes a change in brain and organ function, and ultimately a change in behavior, such as running away, hiding, or freezing from traumatic events. Now, let me see a show of hands. How many of you have ever felt like running, hiding, or freezing in this business? Come on, raise your hand. Of course you have, because it's business, right? Every single day, you're asked to do something that's scary as crap, right? And it's different for everybody. But listen to this. Just listen to this for a second. Fear is an emotion. Does it say fear is a fact? No. Does it say fear is a truth? No. Fear is an emotion. I need you to understand that tonight, guys, that fear is an emotion. Just like sadness. Has anybody ever woke up in the morning and felt sad? Does that mean you're a depressed person? No, it just means you're sad. That's it, right? And feelings and emotions come and go. And they're going to come and go a lot if you're an entrepreneur, okay? But fear is an emotion induced by a threat perceived, not by an actual threat, not by something that's actually trying to kill you, but a perceived threat, which causes a change in brain and organ function. Now, I want you to think about this, okay? A little kid. Imagine yourself as a little kid, and it's nighttime. You get in your little PJs. If you're like me, you probably had some like Michael Jordan PJs, okay, because he was the man back in the 90s. And you go to your parents, tuck you in, they kiss you goodnight, they pray with you, give you a drink of water, whatever, and everything's fine. Everything's cool. You're all cuddled up in bed, just a little kid, right? And then something crazy happens. On their way out, they turn the lights out. And when they turn the lights out, all of a sudden, there's monsters in the closet. There's snakes under the bed. Freddy Krueger somehow like got in the house. I don't know where Freddy came. Like, I don't know where Freddy lives. But when I was a kid, he lived in Wichita, Kansas, because that's where I lived. And apparently he made it to my house like every night. Like, I don't know how this guy does this. He makes it around to like every house, he's like freaking Santa Claus, guys. The guy's magical, right? And we dream up of all of these ridiculous things. Why? Because we can't see. And when we cannot see, our imagination, man, God gave us an incredible imagination. And when we can't see, our imagination goes to work to think up of the worst possible things that could ever happen. When that happens, you are flooded with this emotion, right? And this emotion will make you so stupid. I used to actually roll halfway into my bed. When I was a little kid living in Wichita, Kansas, there was this weird incident. Like, I know this is like every day now, but when I was a kid, this never happened. There was a little girl who got abducted and disappeared, and no one could find her for like 3 weeks. Now, we weren't allowed to watch the news. My parents were smarter than that. Little kids in like Wichita, Kansas, I know probably sounds like a cow town, but there's some creepy stuff happening in Wichita, Kansas. Like it's crazy. And so we wouldn't watch the news, but we'd always watch sports. And on commercial breaks, breaking news tonight, more about the search for this little girl. I forget what her name was. And so every single night I would go to bed. And for some reason, I was afraid that someone was going to break into my house and kidnap me. And so I would literally roll into the middle of my bed, because if I rolled like one way to hide from the window, and I was like, crap, now I'm closer to the door. They're going to find. So I'd roll to the other side, I'm like, crap, now I'm right next to the window, I was on the second floor. Like, who's going to sneak up the second floor window to kidnap a whiny little kid? Okay. Nobody. Right. So I'd roll like into the middle of my bed. Like that was going to help. Why? Because I couldn't see. Now, let me ask you this. Do we have any fortune tellers tonight? Anybody? Anybody? I don't see anybody. So I'm guessing no one on this call knows the future. Am I right? Anybody on this call know the future? Which means that when it comes to the future, the lights are completely turned out. Would you agree? Now, as an entrepreneur, the lights are really turned out. Because how many of you know exactly, if you were to rank advance tomorrow, exactly what your paycheck would be as a result? Probably nobody, right? How many of you know if you work 10 hours this week, exactly how much money you'll make as a result? How many of you know if you work out every single day for the next 30 days, exactly how much weight you will lose? Nobody? You see, the thing with being an entrepreneur is everything's unknown. Everything, right? And so we're continuously scared to death. Now, this is why most people love day jobs. Why? Because they know exactly what they will get in return. And even if what they're getting in return is nowhere near what they're worth, they at least feel safe and comfortable, right? I worked a day job. I had no paid time off. I'd worked there 10 years, guys. No paid time off. No vacation, no sick time. I had a son that was in the hospital 3 times for 3 open heart surgeries. Guess how many of those days I got paid for? 0. I used to play in a rock band, and we had to do benefit concerts to cover my bills while my son was in the hospital having an open heart surgery. Now, you still going to tell me you want to work a day job for the rest of your life? Gosh, I hope not, because no one else on this planet will ever pay you what you're worth except for you. You're the only one. You're the only one that really values you the way you deserve to. So, if you do not see the future and you do not know the future, you will continually be fighting against your imagination, who's trying to tell you that the worst possible thing will happen. And you're like, Josh, that's stupid. I'm not a little kid. I'm not afraid of the dark anymore. Okay. So let's back it up. How about when you bought your very first challenge pack? How many of you, maybe you reach out to Melissa, maybe you have someone else that's your upline coach, and you've been watching them for like 6 months, probably even asked 5,000 questions about, what's the ingredients in Shaco? Is it okay for pregnant women? Is it okay for nursing women? Is it okay for people that have high blood pressure? Is it okay if you have PCOS? Is there any peanut material? Like all the most ridiculous questions on the planet, right? About Shaco. And then you finally decide, okay, we're finally going to do this thing. I know it's going to cost $150, which means I can't drink Starbucks for an entire month, but I'm going to finally do it, right? And you go to hit that submit button. And you start freaking out. Why? You start thinking, what if this Shakeology stuff tastes like crap? And I can't even drink it. And I just paid $130 for something I can't even drink, right? What if I get the workout program, and I don't know who your guys' jam is, but whether it's Shalene or whether it's Sean T, whatever it is, what if I get the workout program and I can't even get through the workout? Like, what if I actually like pass out? Like, I don't know, like guys, when I work out with Sean T, like I feel like I'm going to pass out every single, which is why I work out with Sagi. I much prefer Sagi because I can't hang with Sean T. Shalene's like too coordinated for me. I can't keep up with the moves. I get really, really confused. Okay. I just work out with Sagi, just pump, just lift weights. That's it. That's all I can handle. But you're so scared. What if I can't lose weight like the people on the infomercial, right? What if I can't get a 6-pack like Melissa? Right? I mean, all these crazy fears are just like haunting you. But I'm sure most of you have found out by now, if you just stuck with it one day at a time, eventually you got results, right? Now, maybe you didn't get the same results as everyone else, but you did get results, right? So then you signed up as a coach because someone reached out to you in a challenge group and said, man, you do such a great job in the challenge group. You're so encouraging. I just love your fire. I think you'd make a great coach. Have you ever considered being a coach? And you're like, actually, yeah, I have been thinking about that. So you went to sign up as a coach, but then you start thinking, what if I can't help other people lose weight? What if I can't sell Shakeology? I mean, it is really expensive. I don't know if I can talk anybody into buying Shakeology. What if I can't help people? What if I'm a sucky leader? What if I can't do this whole challenge group thing? Because this whole like making up a post every single day thing, that's challenging, man. I don't know if I can handle that, right? But for those of you that have done it for a little while, hopefully if you've just done your 3 vital behaviors every single day, you realize, holy crap, I can help people lose weight, right? Holy crap, I can sell a few challenge packs if I just talk to enough people. If I just share my story. And then there's always the next level. We get up to that leadership level where you actually have to recruit people and build your own team. And you think, what if I'm a sucky leader? Like I know some people are just these like natural born leaders. They're just like, they just come out of their mama like leading people, right? Like captain of the cheerleading or the captain of the football team, whatever. What if I'm not that natural leader? Every single level brings a new devil. But at every single level, I promise you, there are no superhumans. If you just put in the work day by day by day by day, there's this really cool thing, maybe some of you have heard of it, called the compound effect that begins to work to your advantage. So that's what fear is. Fear is just this crappy thing that haunts us everywhere we go. But why? Why do we have fear? You really, really, really need to understand why we have fear, because I promise just knowing this is going to set you free a little bit, okay? Fear, there's actually a little piece of our brain back here, and I call it our smoke detector. Now, how many of you, every time the smoke detector goes off, go and grab all of your favorite belongings and sprint out the door every single time? Anybody? No, that would be stupid. Wouldn't that be stupid? Just a few weeks ago, I'm going to tell myself a little bit. We don't always stick to the meal plan, and Daddy was fixing some Easy Mac for the kiddos. Do you know what happens when you don't mix water with the noodles before you put it in the microwave? The Easy Mac container catches on fire. So, being the multitasker that I am, I stuck it in the microwave and went to the bathroom. I was going to pee while it's like in there for the 3 minutes, right? Probably check some messages on my phone at the same time. Come on, we all do it, right? And all of a sudden I hear the kids yelling, Daddy, it's smoking, it's smoking, it's smoking. I run out here and literally the microwave is on fire. And the smoke detector is going off because Daddy forgot to add water to the Easy Mac. Like, come on, it's Easy Mac, Josh. It's called Easy Mac. It's not hard. But I still screwed it up because I suck, okay? I suck at cooking. I'm the worst. Don't ever let me cook for you, okay? And so here's the thing. The fire alarm goes off, but does that mean we need to all sprint and run out the door for our lives? No. It just means there was one stupid little thing that I needed to take, and honestly, I ended up having to throw it outside and stomp on it a few times and leave it out there and leave all the windows open all night. But most of the time when the smoke detector goes off, the only thing it means is that I'm cooking. If my wife's cooking, everything's fine. The second in other words, it just means just something messed up. Now, please, please, please write this down. Anytime you go into undiscovered or unconquered territory, okay? Undiscovered or unconquered territory. You have a built-in smoke alarm in the back of your head. And it literally goes crazy. And it floods your entire body with emotions, trying to scare you to death, to bring you to alert, to get you to run, hide, or freeze. Now, here's the problem, guys. This part of our brain literally has no logic to it whatsoever. Just like the smoke detector. The smoke detector does not scan the house to find out if it's a dangerous situation. It just says, smoke, let's go crazy, right? This part of our brain is the exact same way. The second you have unconquered or undiscovered territory, its only job is to freak out and go crazy. And here's the biggest problem with all of us. Maybe it's a problem with God. God assumed we were all intelligent enough to stop and use our brain to find out, is this really danger or not? Unfortunately, most of us are too dumb. I'm talking about myself here too, okay? Most of us are too dumb to take the time to go check the microwave, to go look around the house. We just instantaneously, the second we feel that fear, we take off sprinting in the other direction. And 99% of the time, there wasn't even a fire. You catch what I'm saying here, guys? 99% of the time that you go run, hide, and freeze, it was a false alarm. There's literally nothing to even be afraid of. It was just unconquered or undiscovered territory. Now, why in the world do we have this stupid smoke alarm? Well, how many of you know if you're a caveman and you don't have Google, you don't have these books that we used to have. When I was a kid, we had these things called books, and it had like pictures and words and stuff, and it would tell you about things. I think they were called encyclopedias, and you could look things up to learn. Well, if you're a caveman and you don't have those things, what happens if you see a saber-toothed tiger? I don't know about you guys, but if I did not know a saber-toothed tiger was dangerous, I'd pet the thing. I might even try to jump on it and like go for a ride, right? Those things are awesome looking. But if you did that, it would eat you, right? This part of our brain is put there to protect us just in case there is danger. But it's our job to use logic to find out, is there really danger? Most of us never take the time to do that, which is why so many people are failing on their health journey. Why? Because they haven't conquered it yet. They haven't stuck with it long enough yet, and it's an emotional battle. How many of you remember the emotional battle of your health journey, or maybe you're still facing it today? And there's a reason we have programs that last 30 days and 60 days and 90 days, because you don't overcome this emotional battle in 5 days. It doesn't happen. In fact, for me, every single time I start a new workout program, I tell myself on week 1, get ready for hell. Because literally anytime my body is having to adapt to a new workout program, I know that I'm going to feel like crap. I'm going to be tired. I'm going to be worn out. And everything up here is just going to go cuckoo for like at least 1 week. I remember like when my business first took off and I had just started hammer and chisel. How many people done hammer and chisel? Okay, so I'm used to Body Beast, not a lot of cardio, okay? I get hammer and chisel. I'm like, yeah, Sagi's doing it. This will be cool. Okay, there's a lot of freaking cardio in hammer and chisel, okay? And I remember on like day 4, I was laying in bed and I think I'd spoke on like 4 team calls that week, which is just really dumb to do anyways, plus all of my one-on-one clients and my training groups. And I was laying in bed and I had this thought, Josh, what in the world were you even thinking starting your own business? This is the biggest chaotic mess you've ever seen in your life. You should just go back to detailing cars. And I was like, whoa, wait, what? That is literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Oh yeah, it's week 1 of hammer and chisel. Of course, I'm loopy up here. Why? Because it takes you time to adjust to a new routine, right? My body was not used to cardio, and Autumn was just kicking my butt. She really was. She was kicking my butt hard. Those stupid bench step-ups are the worst. So here's the thing, guys. That's true on the health journey. But the business journey is just as big of an emotional battle as your health journey. And this is what makes this business really, really, really hard, is sometimes we're asking you to do both at once. We're asking you to go through a physical journey and a business journey all at the same time. And your head is going freaking bananas. Because your emotions are just everywhere. Why? Because you're in so many new unconquered and undiscovered territories at once. Your smoke detector is just going nuts. Does that mean that you're doing something wrong? Absolutely not. It means we've got to stop and use our brain and try to figure out which threats are real and which threats are perceived. Remember, fear is a threat perceived. So let me give you 3 tips on how to overcome these fears. And I'm going to give you some specific examples that I know all of you struggle with. How's that sound? Okay. Number 1, you've got to say it out loud to someone you trust. Write it down, okay? I don't see enough pencils moving. Say it out loud to someone you trust. Now, the you trust is very, 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 very important because we all know that misery loves company. Don't you dare talk about your fear on your growth journey to someone who's not growing. They will always talk you down. I don't know. Anybody on here ever heard of Grant Cardone, who wrote the 10X rule? Anybody? It's like one of my favorite books on the planet. If you're in my Art of Recruiting group, you know, because that was your homework assignment, was to get the book. He says, everyone in life is always telling us, and I love his little voice that he uses, just calm down. Everything will be okay. You need to be balanced. Don't try so hard. Just settle down. Everyone in this freaking world is trying so hard to stay comfortable and safe and balanced. And I'm just going to tell you right now, if you're growing and making a difference in the world, it's never, ever, ever, ever going to feel like balance. It's never going to feel calm. It's never going to feel peaceful. Now, does that mean you can't have peace? Obviously not. But peace does not mean that disturbance doesn't exist. It means in the midst of the storm, you still have peace. Does that make sense? If you're going crazy all over the place, emotions going crazy, that doesn't mean you're out of balance and out of whack and not. The only thing it means is that you're growing, guys. You're growing. So you've got to say it out loud to someone you trust. And here's why we say it out loud. How many of you have ever been talking to a friend, and in the middle of what you're talking about, you're like, oh, I kind of just answered my own question, didn't I? Do you know why that happens? Because as long as it stays in here, it's connected to all those crazy emotions. And emotions make us stupid, okay? They make us really stupid sometimes. When we say it out, it has the ability to go back into our ears to the part of our brain that's logical. And sometimes we hear it without even having to get an answer. If we don't, sometimes our friend can hear it and repeat it back to us. And we hear it from them and we go, wait, are you sure that's what I said? Because that's not what I hear in here. No, that's totally what you said. You said he is a douche and you should never, ever, ever, ever have dated him. Come on. How many of you, when you were a teenager, dated some of the biggest losers in the world and everyone told you it, but somehow you couldn't realize it? Why? Because you were emotionally connected. You had no logic working there at all. So many times in your business, you are avoiding things and they are the tiniest, littlest nothings. But emotionally, you feel like it's this big, hairy monster. So say it out loud to someone you trust. Number 2 is you've got to ask yourself my favorite question in the world that I use for my one-on-one clients. What do you have to lose versus what do you have to gain? What do you have to lose versus what do you have to gain? Now, this is my favorite one to walk people through, okay? So let's go through a typical day in the life of a Beachbody coach. So hopefully if you've been coaching long enough, the health journey part you've started to get down, right? So you wake up every morning, you drink your Shaco. If you can't drink your Shaco, then I don't know how to help you because it's a freaking chocolate shake. I put peanut butter, half a scoop of cafe latte, half a scoop of chocolate in mine, and it's like the best thing in the world. So just drink this crap, okay? Like you don't need anybody's help from me. Just drink it, okay? The workout can be a little bit trickier, but hopefully by now you've got that part down. Personal development, I know a lot of people skip out on it, but guess what? There's these cool things called audiobooks. Just put some headphones on and listen while you run an errand or something. But here's where people, in my opinion, from all of the hundreds of Beachbody coaches that I've talked to, I would say 80% of Beachbody coaches are not invite on a daily basis. I'm just gonna stare at you for a second because I'm just letting you soak that in. 80% of Beachbody coaches are not inviting on a daily basis. Sucks. Adam says only 80%. You could be right, Adam. It may actually be 90 or 95%, but I'm trying to be kind here. 80% are not doing the only vital behavior that puts money in your pocket. It's the only one, guys. Personal development is more about the consistency and keeping your mind right so that you can do the other things and keeping you with it for the long haul. Okay. It's about growing inside so that you can handle the journey. And the workout, obviously, you got to be a product of the product. Like that's just, you can't sell a product. When I used to sell Fossil watches, people would look at my wrist every day to see if I wore a Fossil watch, which is why the company gave us all a free Fossil watch to make sure we were wearing it. You can't sell something you don't believe in. But the only thing that puts money in your pocket is conversations. That's it. And you can post 45 times a day. People are not going to email you and say, oh my gosh, your pictures, like, I don't know what app you're using. It must be that word swag because your fonts are just so incredible. I've got to have some Shaco right now. Has that ever happened to anybody? Has anybody just been like, you know what? You are such an incredible artist. Like the way you do things in Rona Design is just so fabulous. Like, it looks like you spent 5 hours on that. Can I have some Shakeology? Has anyone ever said that to anybody? No. And yet we spend 45 minutes a day in Word Swag, Canva, Rona Design. I don't know. I'm sure there's 5 others that I don't even know about. And we spend this much time starting new convos. I'm getting a lot of blank stares, which means I know I'm talking to the right people tonight. Okay. Why do we not do the one thing that puts money in our pocket? I'll tell you why. Because we're afraid, right? We are afraid. I would say 90% of you are not doing it because you're afraid of rejection. You are afraid that one, people will straight up never even respond, which makes you feel like crap. That you literally like spent 20 minutes just working up the nerve to message this person like I did with Melissa. And they didn't even take the time to just say no thanks, right? And that hurts really bad to know that people think you are obviously worth absolutely nothing because they're not even willing to say, no thanks, I'm good, right? It would almost be better, right? If they would just say no thanks, because then you could at least move on and stop worrying about it. But people are crushed when people don't respond. And I'll just tell you right now, as an entrepreneur who built my business online messaging people, 90% of people are not going to respond to you. And that sucks. That sucks to feel rejection 90% of the time, right? Or we're scared that they will respond. And one, they'll say something really, really mean. Like, oh my gosh, you are such a jerk. I can't believe you would try to sell me something on social media. What is your problem? Right? Or that they'll actually be interested in more and you won't know what to say. And I know that sounds crazy, but if you know the personality types, I have kind of my own verbiage for the personality types. There's the owl. I don't know which system you guys use, but basically the owl is all about databases and spreadsheets and organizing and systems. They love to color code everything. And the owl's biggest fear is that they don't know all of the steps. And so they can't do something until they know all of the steps, which means conversations are really hard for you because you don't know what they're going to say, which means you don't know what to like think up in advance, right? There's no scripts for how to respond to the response. There's just scripts on how to start the conversation, right? And you're freaking out over there. This isn't in my spreadsheets. I can't color code that. What's wrong? Everyone's scared to death of conversations because they're unknown. We don't know what's going to happen, right? So let's use this magical question, okay? What do I have to lose versus what do I have to gain? Let's walk through this, okay? And I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it and make it sound like it's something that it's not, okay? Let's talk about it. What do you have to lose by starting conversations? Number one, you have a little bit of time, because it does take a little bit of time to go find the person you actually want to talk to. Depending on the kind of script that you're using, you might have to go find out what kind of dog they have. You might have to go find out if they had a birthday, find something relevant to talk to them about, right? So it does take a couple minutes of your time. Number two, it will probably cost you your ego, because the majority of people do not like to have people reach out to them and strike up conversation and then invite them to something, right? So it's going to cost you a little bit of ego, right? It may even cost you a friend or a follower. Now, I say the word friend very, very loosely, because come on, guys, it's social media. We're not talking about your best friend. Your best friend, you're not losing over this, right? Talking about friends on Facebook, followers on Instagram, or followers on whatever 100 other social media sites you're on. That's what you have to lose. But other than that, I think that's about it. Now, that was quite a few losses. I think that was 3 or 4 losses that I mentioned. But let's go over to what you have to gain. Number one, they could possibly say yes, and they could become a challenger. And by becoming a challenger, they could have an incredible transformation, which could affect their life, their marriage, their children, their future, and every person that they will meet in their future. That's just one thing. They could fall so in love with the product that they decide to turn around and be a coach themselves. And in doing so, they start conversations, they invite other people, and they find other people that want to have a transformation, that end up having a transformation, having their life change. And in the process, you could change someone's life, and you could also change your own life by building up enough volume under you that you can finally quit that job that you've hated for the last 10 years, like me. Now, I know that's not what everyone wants to do. Some of you are stay-at-home moms, and you live paycheck to paycheck. Your husband's probably in my shoes, where he works a job that he hates. And you want nothing more. I just talked to someone today who said, I wish more than anything else that we just had enough money for my husband to just stay home on Father's Day. Her husband worked in the restaurant industry. He works every single Father's Day. She's like, I just wish I could bring my husband home on Father's Day. Or maybe you have a vacation that you haven't been on, and you wish more than anything you could make enough extra money to take your family on a vacation. Maybe you actually have plenty of money. And you don't relate to my story at all, because I've never, ever had plenty of money until my business took off. But you have a desire to feel like you have purpose. And you want to inspire and change lives. And as much as you love being a mom or a dad or a spouse, there's something in you that wants more. It doesn't make you a bad mom, and it doesn't make you a bad dad. It just means you want to make a difference in the world. And that is totally okay. So here's what you have to lose, guys. Your ego, a little bit of time, and a Facebook friend that you haven't talked to since high school and probably didn't even like in high school. Right? Am I right? And can I just be real with you guys? If someone does ignore you, I know it hurts, but let's face it, if you hate having conversations, they just bailed you out. You don't have to have the conversation. Am I right? I'm going to tell you right now, for every 10 people you message, probably 7 or 8 of them are just going to straight up bail you out. They won't ever even respond, so you won't even have to have the conversation. Which should make it a little bit easier to use the script. Some people are like, I don't want to use scripts. They're too salesy. Well, you shouldn't be using a salesy script anyways. But you can copy and paste, hey, what's happening? How's your day? To 5 million people, and no one's going to think that sounds salesy, right? But I'm just telling you right now, 80% of people are going to bail you out, which is great, right? Because you don't have to talk to them. Yes. And here's what you have to gain. Right now, as we speak, as we're sitting on this team call with a bunch of people, a bunch of like-minded people that encourage us, that help us, that empower us, someone right now, as I speak, is sitting on the couch more depressed than they've ever been in their entire life. They're struggling with a food addiction, or maybe an alcohol addiction, or who knows what other kind of other addiction. Their marriage is about to be done for. Their kids are about to be done for, because let's face it, if mom or dad goes AWOL, it's pretty rough on the kids too, right? As we speak right now, thousands of people are actually considering taking their lives. And you have all the resources they need to change from the inside out. And you're not offering it because you're scared that someone might ignore you. Or that someone might say, what are you doing messaging me? You're a piece of crap. Fear is the most selfish thing in the world. Please, please write that down in all caps. Write it on your mirror. Write it on your forehead. Write it on the rearview mirror of your car. Fear is selfish. Because fear always has us thinking about how the situation will affect us and not thinking about how it could change the world. How many of you right now say, Josh, Beachbody has literally changed my life? Raise your hand. Now, let me ask you this. Why in the world would you keep that to yourself? Do you see how selfish fear can be? Even little guy right there is like, dude, Beachbody changed my life. I freaking love Shaun T, man. If something has changed your life, this is just part of my belief personally. If something has changed your life, you have an obligation and a duty to share it with the world. Grant Cardone teaches that success is our moral obligation and duty. Why? Not because we need mansions, not because I need a Ferrari, but because there's always someone else in the world that needs to hear what you have to say. There's always someone else. Which, guys, can I just say how freaking incredible it is that Melissa top 10, I found out today, 4 times. Do you know how many people in this business have had the success that she's had that are literally just like camping out at the pool and chilling? They're done. And I don't say that to disrespect any of them or any people at all, but you know you've found a real person when after all of the success she's had, here she is still pouring into your lives, still investing in you. That is what John Maxwell would call the difference between success and significance. Success is what you do for yourself. Significance is what you do for the world. And I would say that every single person, when you signed up to be a Beachbody coach, I bet you $1 million, every single one of you said this: if I could just help one person. Come on, how many people said that? How many people said that? If I could just help one person. Somewhere between then and now, we got caught up in Success Club and rank advancements and personal volume and the leadership ladder. And here's the thing, hear me out. Please, please, please hear me out. I don't have a problem with any of those things, because I think if you really believe strong enough in your mission to help one person, you should be doing that so many times that your Success Club numbers, they're out of the roof. You're climbing the leadership ladder every single month. You're rank advancing like a madman because you are so determined to find more people to help. There are too many people on this planet, guys, that need your story. Melissa doesn't know everybody, guys. And even with her following, she's not going to find everyone. And not everyone's going to relate to her story. There are people that will only listen to you. There will people that will only hear you, that will only connect to you. But we're going to sit on the couch and keep it to ourselves because someone might not respond. Do you guys hear me now? What do you have to lose versus what do you have to gain? So this brings me to my third point, the very last one. I know I'm going forever. I promise I never go over 2 hours. Our last point is have a strong emotional connection to your why. If you have a strong emotional connection to your why, I promise you, you'll still get afraid, but you'll be willing to do anything. I cannot tell you how scammy, guys, I'm just going to tell you, this is how I built my business. Once I realized that people in Tulsa, Oklahoma hate my guts and no one wanted to work with me, I decided I might as well try this whole internet thing. Maybe someone on the planet likes me. And once I realized that that was the way I was going to build my business, and then I met Brittany and started working with her and a lot of her teammates and her upline, I said, Brittany, is there any way I could just like share your name with people so they at least know that like I'm not just some weird random dude reaching? And Brittany was so freaking gracious with me. She was like, dude, you can drop my name anytime you want. It's totally cool. So this is, I kid you not, I sent this message to so many Beachbody coaches in a span of like, I don't know, probably like 6 months. This was like probably like, I guess it was around Summit time last year is when I kind of first started, because me and Brittany started working together just like a month before Summit last year. And I would send this message. I can still repeat it to you. Hi, my name's Josh Coates. I'm a member of the John Maxwell team, and I work with several Beachbody coaches, including Brittany Powers and Emma Owen. I wanted to see if I could give you a free call to see if there's anything I could do to help you with your team and your business. And I literally would send that out. I kid you not. I would scroll through my friends' suggestions, and I would send that out to every single person who had a professional headshot. I realized that so here's the thing. If you're listening and you don't have a professional headshot, seriously, go get one. It makes you look so legit. If you don't have one, don't have a headshot, a picture of your like cat on your shoulder. Okay. Get a professional looking picture so people will respect you. Okay. That's a side note. That was free. Okay. So I would literally go through and message every single person with a headshot and say that to them. 90% of those people would see the message, never respond. And it felt so scammy, guys. I felt like such a freaking low down loser. But here's the deal. 10% of those people would message me back and say something like, oh my gosh, yes, I would love to do that. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. So let's talk. I would set up the call with them. And I cannot tell you how many times someone said something like this to me. Josh, I've literally been praying for someone to come along and help me through this. I don't have any upline support, or maybe, some people don't mesh well with their corporate sponsor. Some of these people are rock stars and they literally feel alone because in this business, sometimes when you get to a certain level, no one reaches out to you and asks if you need help anymore. You're just kind of out there on your own doing your own thing. And you have no support and you have no mentors anymore because sometimes you've outgrown your mentors. They said, Josh, thank you so much for reaching out to me. Now, I told you that to let you know 90% of the time people don't give a crap. But the 10% of people that do will become some of the people you will change their lives and they will change your lives forever. Some of those people have become some of my closest friends. And I literally think about them every single day. When I'm reading my personal development, I'm thinking about how it applies and how I can help them. And they are some of my closest friends. They have changed my life in the process of me helping them change their life. Every single one of you on this call has the ability to change lives. Now, you got to decide, is the life you want to live worth what it's going to cost you? How many of you on here say, Josh, I don't just want, I need this to work out? Raise your hand. It's quite a few of you. Now, let me ask you this. If I said, if you would show up 2 to 3 hours every single day, stop being distracted by all the BS out there and just do your 3 vital behaviors every single day for the next 2 years, I could guarantee you success in this business? How many of you would just straight up the second we get off this call, you would be like, okay, I'm doing my power hour right now? How many of you? All of you would. Now here's the problem. I can't guarantee that because Beachbody won't allow me to. But I have on good authority that the compound effect works. The problem is not, are you good enough? Are you worth it? Can you really, am I really like, I don't know if I have what it takes. I'm telling you right now, the problem is not you. Every single one of you have what it takes. If I've learned something from talking to incredible people and some of the biggest rock stars in this business, I can tell you this, that all humans are humans. I've yet to find, and I don't mean this as disrespect to any of them, but I've yet to find someone who is just flawless and never has any problems and never has any struggles. They're all humans who are afraid every day like you, but instead of running away, they stick in there and they do it anyways. There's nothing magical about them. They don't have any magical powers. John Maxwell, one of the most brilliant people. This is my opinion. I'm a little biased. I think John Maxwell is the greatest human to live since Jesus. That's just my opinion. Okay. Just saying. Okay. The dude spills water all over himself on stage all the time. The dude can't eat a meal without spilling food on himself. Okay. And what I love about the guy is they'll be like, do you want us to edit that out of the video? And he's like, no, just keep it. I want people to know I'm human. We're all just humans, guys. But if you want to have success and you need this to work, then you need to tap into your why and remind yourself every single day why you're doing it. Because the 3 vital behaviors can get very monotonous, which is why we go listening to podcasts, looking for new ways. There's no freaking new ways, guys. There aren't. I've tried them all, okay? There's no new ways. The only 3 ways that I still build my business is being a product of my own product, invite, and personal development. Now, I've created some streamlined ways of doing that, like Facebook ads. But even with my Facebook ads, guys, I cannot get people to go to my website and buy anything. I have to say comment below, and I still have to have the stupid conversation with people. I wish I could get past that, but I can't. I'm telling you, you want to be successful, stop looking for shortcuts. As Beachbody coaches, you should know there are no magic pills. Am I right? There's no magic pills, guys. There ain't no saran wrap you can wrap around your belly 5 times a week that makes you healthy. There ain't. The law of the process. John Maxwell says a leader is not made in a day, but rather one day at a time. So is health. So is business. So is marriage. So is parenting. So is everything else on the planet. It's one day at a time. So I want to give all of you a homework assignment because I always say, if there is no homework, all we did was have a good chat. Okay? So here's your homework assignment. You guys ready for it? I want you to make a video. And in this video, you are going to say what your biggest fear is. And then you are going to say how you're going to use what you learned tonight to face that fear this week. Okay? Do not let this die off. I'm telling you right now, people go to events like Platinum Edge and Summit and Super Saturday all the time and don't change. Why? Because they don't go home and do something with what they learned. True. Come on. It happens. It happens at every event. People go, oh my gosh, that was so good. I took 20 pages of notes. I don't care how many pages of notes you took. What are you going to do? Go do something today. I don't care if you're on the East Coast and it's 10:35 right now. When you get off this call, do something. Okay? So you're going to make a video. Tell me, what is your biggest fear? And what are you going to use that you learned tonight to overcome it? And here's what I want you to do. I'm going to let you put this in the team page. Not going to make you post it publicly because remember what I said. Say it out loud to someone you trust, okay? You don't have to share your fears all over the internet. Put it in the team page in a safe place. because you're going to learn two valuable lessons from this. The first lesson you're going to learn is that when you open up about your fears, so many people will come to your aid and support you. I promise you, when you get vulnerable, you will get the most engagement you've ever got before. The other thing I want you to learn is all of you, I bet, in your head think you're the only person that struggles with this thing. And you're about to hear that there's 30 other people that do too. And there's just something freeing to know that other people are struggling right along with you, right? So why we have challenge groups, right? So we can struggle. It's a lot easier to struggle together and to push through than it is to struggle alone. No one was created to struggle alone. No one. So you've got to lean in to your team. Lean into your team, okay? So that's all I've got, Melissa. I know I went for like 8 years. I always do. I apologize. But I'm totally cool with sticking around for some Q&A if you'd like. I don't know if you want to talk about, we chatted a little about the training groups. I don't know if you want to talk about that or what you want to do. What do you want to do about that?
Yeah, I would love your website. Was it joshcoates.com?
It's joshuacoates.com.
Oh,
Someone stole joshcoates.com before I could get to it.
Don't you hate that? Someone had melissabig.com.
So annoying.
Yeah, but that is his website. But I would love for you to touch on what it is that you offer for them, because I will be talking about that.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got 3 different training groups. One is called Clarity and Focus, and it's specifically for people who are struggling to just stay motivated on a daily basis, okay? It's 4 weeks where I'm going to teach you how to stay motivated, okay? How to streamline the process and not get distracted, okay? I'm going to beat the 3 vital behaviors into your brain, okay, for 4 weeks. And here's the cool part is there's daily check-ins just like your guys' challenge groups. So not only am I going to teach you, but every single Monday you're going to video where I'm going to teach you something. And then for 6 days, we're going to have check-ins to make sure you're doing what you just learned, okay? And then the next Monday comes around, you're going to get a new teaching with 6 more days of check-ins to make sure you're doing what you learned, okay? It's a 4-week training. Clarity and Focus is $49. It's like, seriously, I should like quadruple the price, but the whole point of Clarity and Focus is that it's there for newer coaches who aren't making money yet. I want there to always be something that you can get into and get the help you need, even if you just have to eat spaghetti for a week, okay? And someone just put the address wrong, so I'm going to type it in here for everyone. joshuacoates.com. joshuacoates.com. There you go. Okay. So then I have the Art of Recruiting. The Art of Recruiting is for people, you've got the consistency thing down, but you cannot recruit for nothing. Anybody ever struggled with that? Yep. You got like, Josh, I've been Emerald for like 9 years over here, right? Because you can't recruit coaches. So the Art of Recruiting is 4 weeks to becoming an intentional recruiter, okay? I'm going to teach you the things that all of the top recruiters do. A lot of it you already know and you just don't do. And I'm going to make you get intentional about it for 4 weeks. Again, on Monday, I'll teach you. Tuesday through Sunday, you'll have check-ins to make sure you're doing this stuff. Monday, I'll teach you 6 days of check-ins. It's a 4-week program to get you intentional about recruiting. So last month was actually the first month that I ran this group. And in the first 5 days, I had 7 different people who had already beat their monthly average in recruiting in 5 days. 5 days. Guys, I'm just going to be honest. I don't have magic sauce. I just actually make you become intentional about all the crap you've heard before. There will be a few things that maybe you haven't heard because I work with several different downlines and I take some of these systems and I bring them together. There will be a few things that you've never heard, including the ADOS formula. It's something my client came up with. It's specifically how she reaches out to people on Instagram to recruit coaches. That may be something you've never heard because she created it, but I'm telling you, the accountability is where it's at, okay? That group is $200, but Melissa worked out a special deal with me just for you guys. If you want to get into the Art of Recruiting just for Melissa's team, if you tell anyone else, I'll come after you, okay? Nice. Just for your team, it's $100. $100 for the art of recruiting. And I don't even know how I'm going to do this yet. She just asked me and I said, sure, let's make it happen. So here's what I'm probably going to need to do, Melissa, is I'll send in like information to you, like my PayPal information. And what we're going to have to do is I can't really set up something on my website that's like half off for Melissa fans, because then everyone's going to say they're Melissa, right? So what we're probably going to have to do is just register, like enroll everyone kind of like in a whole separate thing. But I'm going to run an entire group just for your team.
Okay.
So that's going to be kind of a cool thing. You're going to get bunched together with just your team. I have 60 people in my team, in my group this month, but you're going to get like your own group separate from all of the other like people that I sell into this group. Okay. So I'll send Melissa after the call all of the information on that so that you can get enrolled. My other training group is called The Art of Leading, and it's for people that are specifically already recruiting big numbers, and now they have a big team and they're like, dude, what do I do? I got all these people and I can't figure out how to get anyone else motivated. I don't know how to mentor people because I've got like 1,000 people messaging me every day with just random questions. So I'm not spending time with the people I should be spending time with because I'm answering all these crazy questions. So The Art of Leading is the training that I've taken from specifically what I've worked with my one-on-one clients who have huge teams with on systems to properly motivate, mentor, and multiply. Okay? And it's going to help you to get organized with your team to make sure you're focusing on the people you should be focusing on and not wasting 60 hours a week answering the question, how much is Shakeology? Right? Come on. Like really, you can you can Google that, guys. Come on, right? So Art of Leading is $149. Again, you can get all of these at joshuacoates.com. If you're like, dude, Josh, I'm like negative right now. Here's the deal. Go to my website, at least get my free book, okay? Get my free book. It's called The Mess Before Success. And it's the story of how all of the different crap I've been through in my life that got me to where I am right now. I have a weird story, but it's fun and it's entertaining, and I hope that it will inspire you. Go get my free book, if nothing else, okay? Melissa, I'll hand it back to you. If you want to do Q&A or if it's late and you just ready to get off, whatever you want to do is totally cool.
No, I would love that. So if you want to ask Josh a question, go ahead and type it in and I'll read it. But I did want to share with you, without Mick's approval, because he's not here, he's having beer with some guys, so I may get in big trouble for this, but I would, Josh and I talked, and I would really like to offer the Art of Recruiting to the coaches at Hit Success Club. Sorry, my personally sponsored coaches, I can't do it for everybody. That would be a mortgage. But the personally sponsored coaches at Hit Success Club in April, I will gift the Art of Recruiting for you in May. So
boom. That's literally the most generous thing I've ever heard of a coach doing for somebody. So like, just know right now how cool that is.
I love them.
It's pretty spectacular. Like, you guys better be sending her Christmas presents this year is all I'm saying.
They do. They send me gifts all the time.
Okay, good.
Let's see. Kelly stands on her head for me. The Art of Leading. Yes, Nikki. You and me both, girl. Already Hit Success Club. Crystal, you rock. Any questions?
Oh, someone just told me that joshcoates.com will be available. I don't know if they're like using the force or if they're about to go buy it for me.
That crystal ball thing.
joshcoates.com will be available. Sorry, if no one else on here watches Star Wars, just ignore me.
I bought the movie tonight. I just bought it from Walmart.
Oh, nice.
I haven't even watched it yet.
I watched it 3 times in theater, and then we bought it the other night when it came out. I'm totally rocking the nerd life.
It's Adam. Adam's my web guy. He's my nerd.
Oh, okay.
So
just back order it. Okay.
Yeah.
Adam, we will talk. We will talk.
Nice. There's a question for you. Do you want me to read it, or do you want to read it? Can you read it?
Yeah, I can read it if you want.
Sure.
Josh, the Art of Leading is that a Facebook group I should request access to, or do I sign up via? So yeah, it's okay. Every single one of my groups, you sign up via my website. and then I will add you to the Facebook group. So actually, the Art of Leading and Clarity and Focus just started on Monday, okay? So if you want to buy in to the group that started on Monday, you got to buy tonight, because tomorrow I'll be putting up links for next month's group. I kept them up for a few days extra because those two groups weren't sold out. So it's like, if someone wants to hop in a little bit late, that's totally cool. You'll have a couple days to catch up, but you have to buy tonight if you want in the current group, because tomorrow, next month's links go up. Okay. Hope that answered your question. And when you purchase, you'll get a little confirmation email, and then I will add you or email you with a link for the Facebook group.
Mindy asked, will Clarity and Focus be able to be completed before Art of Recruiting in May?
If you go sign up for it tonight, yes. You'll have to catch up on one video. Like I said, I only do one video a week. All the other days are check-ins. So you could literally purchase tonight. You could watch Monday's video and then just hop in with us for the rest of the group. And then come May, you'd hop right into the Art of Recruiting.
Awesome. And Tanner messaged me, and he said that he's in your group now. I'm going to mute you. Which group are you in, Tanner? He's typing.
She just unmuted you, Tanner.
Hey, Josh.
What's happening, buddy? You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Just in camp.
Good.
Life,
Hey, thanks for hopping on tonight. I know you told me you were sick earlier. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Feeling a little better.
You must have drank some Shaco today and just.
Oh yeah, every day.
So, Melissa, do you want to ask him some questions about the group so far? I mean, it's only been 1 week, but I mean, still,
Tanner, I would love to know your experience so far.
Yeah, I'm loving it. It's the video is good. Keeps me going on all my daily stuff, and the book that he got us going on, the 10 times rule, it's really good. Listening to it in the gym every morning.
Nice.
It's my first audiobook, actually. I'm more of a hard copy guy, but I'm loving the book.
Good.
Awesome. What was your biggest takeaway from Monday night?
Just being more consistent in my posts and doing what certain kind of posts every day.
So for those of you who don't know, so on week 1, I talk about telling your story, and that most people that have really big followings on social media tell their story a lot. Most Beachbody coaches who have 200 followers on Instagram, if you go look at their page, it's a bunch of motivational quotes, and you don't even know who the heck the person is. You really don't. And if you want to sell, I say, this is one of the things I say, if you fail to find their pain, you will fail to get paid. If you are not able to connect to people's pain, ain't nobody going to buy nothing from you. So what we do is every Tuesday, you have to do a transformation pick, every Thursday, a transformation pick, and every Sunday night, a coaching post.
I still have to do mine today because I came on this call after work.
On it.
So again, that's not rocket science, but I bet if I went and looked at 90% of your pages, I wouldn't see your story told anytime in the last month. And when I say story, I'm talking vulnerable crap. Who were you 2 years ago before Beachbody? Because doesn't nobody care who you are now. They want to know who you used to be, because that's who they are now. And they want to know, okay, that's great that you look amazing and you're happy and healthy, but have you always been that? Because if so, I'm screwed, because I've not always been, right? They need to see, I used to be stuck just like you. But through this, I've become this person, and guess what? I can help you do the same thing. And if you ain't getting vulnerable about your story, don't nobody care how motivated you are. Because all they're looking at is saying, that's a really motivated person. Wow, I wish I could be a motivated person, because they don't have any relation to you at all. So anyways, that's just a little bit about what week 1's about.
Which is everything. In a nutshell, it's everything. Your story is everything.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, I almost lost you there for a second. Any other questions that I missed? I saw Melissa, the Art of Recruiting. You either sign up tonight to start it this.
No, that was Clarity and Focus. Clarity and Focus.
Yeah.
Art of Recruiting is totally sold out for this month, but I'm going to send Melissa details as soon as I get off tonight, okay, with basically my PayPal information. And she's going to hopefully, can you post that in the team page for me, Melissa? Is that cool? And so what you'll do is you'll just have to send the $100 to my PayPal. I know this is not professional, but I just can't set up a separate link for your guys' team on my website. My website is not that sophisticated, and neither am I. So you'll send me the money along with your email address, and I'll make sure, basically, I'll send you emails with details on the upcoming group. Does that make sense?
Yep.
If I don't live up to my word, there's thousands of Beachbody coaches. You can get to me somehow. I promise. You can come find me and hunt me down and kill me. Okay.
Right.
Is that okay with you, Melissa? Does that system work? Is that all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Yep. I have a feeling I'll be sending you in a big lump sum myself.
Melissa, where are you from? Where do you live?
I live in Melissa.
You what? You live in Melissa?
I live in Melissa, Texas.
Melissa, Texas. Okay. Which Super Saturday do you go to?
I just came back from Canada's, but we're next to Dallas.
Oh, okay. I need to come hang out with you for a Super Saturday.
Oh, heck yeah.
I'm going to Canton, Ohio for this next one, and then I go to Cali for the following one, but I would love to come down to Texas. I'm in Oklahoma. I'm so close.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll see you in 9 months.
Okay.
Oh.
Melissa Morrison is in Cali. Where are you at in Cali, Melissa?
Hi, baby.
There's a lot of places in California. Edmonton, Canada for me. I have not been to Canada yet, but I need to come.
Beautiful.
Melissa Morrison, I spoke at the Orange County Super Saturday in January, and I'm going to be going back to that area in October, I guess that is. I'm going to do like a little California tour. I'm going to go to Orange County to see Judd, and then I'm going to go to his old stomping grounds, which are, what is the name of that little place? Some little town that Mike, Ryan, and Judd Welt are both from. Do you know them, Melissa?
Yes.
Bakersfield. That's where it is. Bakersfield. They're both from Bakersfield, so they have a huge team there. So I'm just going to go do like a little tour of all of Mike Ryan's like little towns that he has teams in.
I like him.
He is a good dude.
Yes. You're not going to the men's event?
No, I'm not, because I had the Maxwell event that I was just at, and since I'm not a Beachbody coach, I hadn't got invited to speak yet. So
Yeah.
I'm going to have to talk to Mike about it. I didn't want to like pester him too much, like, because I knew like they kind of already had the speakers set, you know what I mean? But I would love to speak at the next one. You know what else I would love to speak at, Melissa, is Platinum Edge.
Oh.
I would love to come speak at Platinum Edge.
Ooh. I'll put in a good word for you.
If you could, I will be your best friend forever. Like forever. Free calls for life.
Free calls for life.
Team call anytime you want.
Deal. Well, I will take this opportunity to say thank you so much, Josh, for taking the time for throwing fear in my face and reminding me that I have so much more to gain if I face my fear than I have to lose. It's overwhelming how much I have to gain versus how much I have to lose by doing that. And that was a great reminder, and I'm sure the team appreciated it as well. And I can tell that they're all amped, and I know that this is going to be a spectacular month because we're all going to hit that recruiting next month and freaking crush it. It's going to be so much fun. So once again, thank you. And
you're welcome.
You guys, I want to thank you for being on the call, and make sure to share this call with your team as well, and do what you have to do tonight if there's something that piqued your interest. Otherwise, crush, what month is this? April. It's going by so fast. Crush April and hit your success club, and we will all be in a group together on learning how to really, really build this business fast and recruit a ton of people to grow this family and just save a ton of lives. So you guys have a fabulous Thursday, and I'll see you on the team page.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much, Melissa.
Bye, guys.